Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ted Nat Court, where it is the site for tonight's Civil War matchup between R.A. Long and Mark Morris, Part 2. Nick Sisson here with you once again on behalf of R.A. Long and Mark Morris Athletics. And alongside tonight, my broadcast partner in crime is R.A. Long and Mark Morris's own head coach Ryan Littlefield of the R.A. Long Lumberjack baseball team. Coach, thanks for being with us here tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me, Nick. It's going to be a lot of fun. Appreciate you doing this. I mean, this has brought lots of excitement as far as people being able to tune in easily these past couple of years. So thanks a lot for doing this.
Hey, absolutely, my pleasure. You know, the real credit goes to, Dwayne McCabe and the athletic department over there at R.A. Long for, realizing that there was a need last season as the Jacks get it started with an opening bucket here on the road. That's a good-looking freshman there, Peyton Thill. First game between these two teams went to the JV Mark Morris Monarchs as Monarchs turn it over underneath the basket. Jacks come the other way. R.A. Long has been playing a little bit thinner here throughout the season. They had Lonnie Brown Jr. on the roster to start things this year, but then they called him up for some bigger minutes. Shot goes up and rebounded underneath the basket by Jace Wygant.
Yeah, R.A. Long for the most part was doing a six-man rotation from the start, added Lonnie, so now they play seven pretty consistently. Opened up some minutes for some other younger guys here on JV. I think it's been great all around. Just got to stay away from injuries and the COVID situation,
It's been quite a battle out there with the COVID situation, honestly, as Abel Million dials one up. Coach, you've seen him a few times out on the baseball diamond. Good-looking athlete there.
Yeah, he's sky's the limit as far as talent goes with Abel. He's got good instincts no matter what sport he's playing. He's a scrapper, not scared, not afraid of the big moment. We like him a lot.
Jack's showing a little bit of pressure defense here. And we're going to get a reach-in foul right around half court. 6:23 to go here, first quarter. Lumberjacks on top by 3, 5-2. Wygant picks up his dribble, trying to get it down low. Instead, dangerous pass. Thill just didn't have his head on a swivel there. Entry down low. Double team. Million reaches in, knocks it loose. Rejection by Million. Ball will stay with Mark Morris with 1 second on the shot clock. Good Jacks defense here on this possession.
1 second to go. Got to get it up.
And that one does not draw iron. It'll be a shot clock violation. Abel Million brings it across half court for R.A. Long. Double screen. And Sean Mize drives it and kicks it. Little fancy dribbling. And then an errant pass. Monarchs give it almost away right there, but able to recover. High-low entry. Trey Jenkins with some good defense there underneath the basket, avoiding a foul. Jack's trying to push it up in transition. Million walks into a three, no. Rebound Monarchs. Foul's going to go against R.A. Long here. That's Hunter Brewer. Second Lumberjack team foul with 4:58 to go here in the opening quarter. Shot from just behind the foul line, off back iron, but an offensive rebound put back up by Bogner. And another miss. Million clears the glass. Million from the foul line, no. Wygant just behind the line, no good. But another chance here for the Monarchs. The big man drives it right down the middle. That's Brandon Thornton.
Good looking move there.
We're going to get a foul, though, over the back on Thornton as the Jacks were looking to enter it down low to freshman Trey Jenkins.
Jenkins is a good athlete. He's not all that tall. He's playing forward position on JV. But, man, he plays a lot bigger than he actually is, and he's a force to be reckoned with on the football field, too.
I think he's added about 15 pounds, honestly, since football season to basketball season. And I know he hasn't had a tremendous amount of time in the weight room between football to basketball, but it seems like he's just kind of naturally putting on the girth.
Yeah, everybody's bodies grow different. He's, he looks mature out there.
Nash Bjorg kicks it out. This is Carson Bogner, who splashes home a three. Monarchs take a 2-point advantage. 7-5 here in the first quarter, just under 3 to go. A little drive and a kick out. Jenkins for three, no. Bjorg with the rebound. Long outlet up ahead is over the head and out of bounds of everybody. Lumberjack basketball. Phil dishes it off beautifully to Jenkins. 7's on the board now between both teams. Nice move down low again for Thornton. Now 4 points for the forward. So we're going to get a foul just in front of the Monarch bench. Second team foul on the Monarchs. Sean Mize with the basketball. And now gives it up. Phil has a screen to use from Jenkins. Steps back, picks up the dribble, and then gives it up. Decides to take it. No. Jenkins with an offensive rebound. Phil open from the near wing. No. Long rebound, though, to Jenkins. Mize has his shot rejected. Loose ball. Goes into the backcourt, but tipped back there. Drive and a shot, and one. Count the bucket there, Sean Mize. Nice looking move there by Mize, the junior. Also plays quarterback on the football field. You can also see that he's got a ton of athletic genes there, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a ton of fun to watch on the football field. He can really run. That's where I've enjoyed watching him the most on the football field. He can carry guys sometimes. But yeah, looks comfortable out there on the basketball court. I think the more he plays, and he'll be able to play a huge role next year as well.
Unable to convert the three-point play, Bjorg with the rebound. Bounce pass to the high post. Bjorg steps back and picks up his dribble. Now finds Bogner. And Bogner kicks. This is Stevens for three, and Stevens steps up and hits his first shot. Monarchs on top by 3. Under a minute to go here in the first. Long stride and a shot rejected from behind. Clock down to 20 as the Monarchs have about a 1 second differential between shot and game clock. 3 ball goes up and goes down.
Monarchs getting in a groove.
6 on the clock as Still crosses over, shoulders into Bogner and kicks it. Now Mize has to force one up in front of the buzzer. No good. 15-9, Mark Morris at the end of 1. Took a little bit there for the Monarchs to kind of get their feet wet in the opening quarter. Jacks played some pretty tight defense, but Mark Morris ends up figuring it out there late towards the end of the first quarter, Ryan.
Yeah, hit a couple really big threes. Got a good rhythm going for them. Both teams playing pretty nervous, pretty tight. A little bit too many turnovers, I think both coaches would say in the first quarter. Probably be expected. I mean, there's more people than usual when it's this type of game for the early game. So still settling in. I expect to see more scoring on both sides probably for these last 3 quarters.
The first time these two teams met, the Lumberjacks were the team that kind of came out playing well in the first half, and then some halftime adjustments really helped Mark Morris take off in the third quarter, and the fourth quarter really wasn't needed. Monarchs were already up double digits by the time the fourth came around. So it'll be interesting to see how R.A. Long can kind of play this one here from behind. Tyjon Reagan's into the game for R.A. Long. Also out there, Cohen William Dyke. And then Million, Thill, and Jenkins. And here for the Monarchs is Xander Genro and Dalton Stevens and Jace Wygant, Carson Bogner, and Nash Bjorg. Nice entry down low. Bjorg bothered by 2 Lumberjacks. Shot won't go, and we're going to get a tie-up jump ball. It's going to be R.A. Long basketball.
Yeah, you see R.A. Long knows they're undersized right now, so they're going with the 2-3 zone, but Mark Morris has been able to get a little bit going inside, so see if they can make the adjustment there.
Reagan's unable to hit the open 3 in transition, but the ball out of bounds stays right here. Million has his shot partially blocked, but is able to track it down. Three ball by Gendro, no good. We're going to get a reach-in foul on the Monarchs after Sean Mize controlled the rebound. 7:17 to go here in the second quarter. Reagan's open for 3 again. Can't connect. Ball goes out of bounds into the Monarch bench. Monarch basketball. Shot clock down to 3. Step back by Stevens from 3. Airballed. Controlled by Jenkins. Peyton Thill with the basketball, looking for some help. Sean Mize gets it at the volleyball line, now to Million. 10 on the shot clock, Million for 3. That one's short, on the floor, out of bounds. It's going to stay with R.A. Long. They had 7 seconds on the shot clock, but then they reset it. I didn't see a possession change there, Coach.
I didn't either. That was, I'm not sure.
They did reset it back to 7. Hunter Brewer checks back into the game, and we're going to get a whistle from the outside official. Fans starting to pour in here, getting set for the varsity matchup, Coach.
Yeah, a lot of excitement for this one. You want to get a good seat. It's going to be awesome.
Traveling the call on the drive into the lane. Nice looking Euro step there initially, but just kind of got hung up there.
Yeah, I got stuck.
Still a 6-point Monarch lead here. Neither team to score so far in the second quarter. Going to get a shot clock violation against R.A. Long. Coach, is it good defense or bad offense or both?
I think it's a bit of both. I mean, R.A. Long they're having a little bit of trouble getting into their initial sets, I think. And then once they get anything going as far as penetration goes, I think Mark Morris's length is really bugging them. So just got to settle in, take what they give you, and start knocking down some shots.
Both teams taking their time, though, getting into their offense. Shot clock already down to 5 here as Bogner on the line. Hits a Kentucky 2.
Good-looking freshman right there. Really knows the game.
Very difficult up and under attempt. Missed. Monarchs with the basketball. Feed down low in transition. Shot no good, but a foul called. Yeah, Bogner is a good-looking player. He's got a lot of length, and he's got tremendous footwork and good back-to-the-basket game. Smooth-looking shot.
Yeah, I think that's a name to keep tabs on. I think he's got a bright career ahead of him.
His dad's a great bowler, too. Bogner steps up and hits the first. Thornton checks back in, and Trenton Lamb. Bogner misses on the second. Million goes up and grabs the rebound. Nice jab step and a blow by there with the left hand, the finish by Trey Jenkins. Ball goes out of bounds. 5 on the shot clock. It'll stay with Mark Morris. Lamb loses a handle on the dribble.
Let him go, let him go.
And we're going to get a 30-second shot clock violation. It's not the NBA after all. Phil tries to lay it off. And Jacks get back into the offense with 16 on the shot clock. Jenkins drives this time with the right hand, though.
Starting to get a little momentum going on offense, setting screens and just going hard to the hole with the Jacks. I think that's the recipe. You got to stick with it.
In my opinion, they've just been waiting a little bit too long in the shot clock to try to make something happen.
Completely agree.
3 ball by Bogner is hit off the screen. Tough move by Phil. Shot no good, but he gets his own rebound and kicks it out. Brewer unable to hit. Another offensive rebound, put back, missed again. And then teams hit the floor. And let's see, it looks like one official might have a timeout here. And I think that's the call. I think the Lumberjacks are going to get a timeout from the floor down there. 2:53 to go here before halftime. Monarchs on top double digits, 21-11. It's an interesting dynamic for tonight's game, Coach. You got Ari Long and Mark Morris both cemented where they're going to be heading into the district playoffs. Ari Long will be the #1 seed regardless of losing tonight's game if that happens, and Mark Morris will be #3 regardless if they win. If you had an opinion on who it matters to most to get this one, who would you say?
That's a tough question. I mean, both. I mean, nobody wants to lose a rivalry game. Mark Morris has had so much success for so long. Ari Long, I feel like, I mean, they're the #1 seed, so obviously they're the favorite going in. They're very talented. This is one of the best teams I think Ari Long has ever had for basketball. I think it's really important for both teams going into playoffs to build some momentum, to kind of get into your groove right before playoff time.
Psychologically, I would have to think that the game matters more to Mark Morris heading into the district playoffs, knowing that if they are to get a victory on the road against Chehalis this Saturday, which will be a tough matchup in itself, but assuming both Mark Morris and Ari Long wins, that would set up a semifinal matchup for a third game between the teams. And I think from the standpoint of where Mark Morris wants to be, I think they need to know that they could beat a fully rostered Ari Long team. They expect to have Aaron Offson in the lineup again tonight, and he was in there the first game, but we all know he was a little bit ginger, coming off of the injury. So Mark Morris's psyche could do wonders if they're able to pick up a victory here at home tonight against a fully rostered Ari Long team.
Yeah, completely agree. Both teams really well coached, completely different coaching styles, dynamics, everything. So, yeah, I feel like it could go either way. Like I say, when they get in the playoffs, though, it's really hard to beat a team 3 times if you finish in the top 3 of standing.
Shot rejected by Stevens. 2-on-1 the other way. And I think Trey Jenkins just literally jumped over Jace Wygant there. Jacks have only been able to manage 2 points so far in the second quarter. Mark Morris has only scored 6, so it's not like they're lighting it up themselves, but doing a little bit more here than the Lumberjacks. Three ball by Wygant missed. 2 Monarchs underneath the basket. Stevens misses on the putback attempt, and we got a foul call underneath. Coach, you pointed it out earlier in the first half here that the size advantage down low seems to be doing Mark Morris wonders, and Lumberjacks can't really keep him off the glass.
Yeah, it's a tough task if you're having a hard time hitting shots and getting into your sets on offense, and you're going to sacrifice size. It's going to be a tough thing to overcome.
Drive down the lane, shot up, no good, but a foul called. As Trenton Lamb will head to the foul line. First free throw, no good. Minute 10 to go here before halftime. Xander Gendro checks back in here for Mark Morris. And the second free throw good for Lamb. An 11-point lead now for the Monarchs. Jump ball is called as Mize tied up. Jacks are going to lose possession to the arrow. 52.2 to go. Ball poked out of bounds. It'll stay with Mark Morris. Tough shot off the drive. Offensive rebound put back up by Thornton. Missed short. Wygant's there for another. And then finally Thornton's there for a third and then able to put it in. Foul immediately off the inbound. 16.2 to go.
That's not a bad play there. I mean, they only had 14 fouls at the time. Trying to get a good momentum swing before the half, have a couple fouls to give. Good aggressive play.
1 on the clock as Thill drives, puts one up and misses it. And he looks a little slow to get up there, but manages to pick himself up and will head to the locker room. Tough quarter there for the road team. Lumberjacks only scored 2 points in the second quarter, Ryan, and Mark Morris has established themselves on the scoreboard. 13-point lead, 24-11. Got to really like the hustle points that Mark Morris earned there throughout the second quarter. I mean, they managed to get a couple of possessions where they had 3, maybe 4 different looks at the basket before ultimately coming away with a score.
Yeah, I mean, both teams looked a little bit out of sorts early, still trying to get into established offense, limit some turnovers. Mark Morris has been able to capitalize, and they've won the hustle points so far, and it's shown on the score.
Jack started out pretty decent there in the opening quarter. They had 7 points in the first 4 minutes, but they've only managed 4 the last 12. So it's not going to win you many ball games, home or away.
No.
Well, the matchups are set for districts. R.A. Long is waiting on the winner of tomorrow night's game. It's going to be played down in Columbia River. The Shelton High Climbers coming to town in Hazel Dell to take on the Columbia River Rapids. Winner of that one gets the Lumberjacks. What a prize.
Tough task after winning a play-in game. But I like the fact that they did that. Adds a little bit more excitement to the playoffs. Gives a shot to teams from 2 different leagues. Yeah, then you got to go up against number 1 ranked R.A. Long. I think they're number 3 in the state. Tough task, yeah.
Depending on the rankings, you know, R.A. Long has been anywhere from, you know, top 15 to top 3. Most of the sports writers have given the Lumberjacks the credit that they probably deserve throughout the entire season. The computers, not so much. It's probably why the BCS isn't around anymore, because we all know computers don't know sports.
They don't exactly have thoughts and feelings, so I agree with you there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something to get everybody kind of excited about and talk about on the side, you know, to the lead up to the game. And, you know, rankings are great, but at the end of the day, I don't know anybody's ranking that's ever won a basketball game or football game.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's what so much of the hype that comes around March Madness when you're looking 1 through 16 and filling out your brackets. You're like, oh, well, obviously I got to pick the 1 over the 2 when it's the final 8 or whatever it is. But I mean, the best team doesn't always win. The team that plays the best on that day wins. So
yeah, if the best team's always won, then my NCAA bracket would be perfect every single year. Gonzaga really disappointed me, though, by the way, last year. I thought they really had a legitimate chance, and then Baylor just came out and hit them in the mouth. But the Zags are back again this year. They're reloaded, so it'll be interesting to see how they can respond, more tournament experience. But I'll tell you what, man, the NCAA tournament this year is going to be bonkers. There's a lot of teams in the top 15 that have beaten on each other, and Pac-12 is representing pretty well this season as well. You got UCLA, you got Arizona, USC is kind of in the mix there as well. And, you know, outside of that, I mean, there's not too many quality teams. I still consider Gonzaga, you know, like a Pac-12 team. You know, even though they don't play in the Pac-12, you know, we know that if they played that schedule, they would still end up with 12 to 14 victories, and they'd probably get beat every now and then by, you know, a quality team like an Arizona State or maybe a Cal or maybe a Stanford. Those places are always tough to pick up victories, you know, but I like what Coach Mark Few's built over there in Gonzaga, and I really hope that, you know, one of these years they end up hoisting a national championship.
Yeah, I think they do things the right way. They recruit really well. It's an excellent academic school. Um, yeah, if you go to Gonzaga, you're part of the Kennel Club, man. So it's a lot of excitement behind the basketball program. Uh, yeah, they've been a lot of fun to watch, and they're. I was thinking about it. I mean, you think of national powerhouses. Out of Power Five conferences, what team has had the amount of success that's not Power Five in a dominant sport such as basketball, baseball, football, volleyball, whatever it is, outside of Gonzaga? It's amazing what they've been able to do.
They're definitely a lock for getting into the tournament and probably having at least a top 4, top 3 seed every single year. I mean, they've been the number 1 team overall a couple times in the last 5 seasons. So I mean, they've got tons of national recognition. They're not a Cinderella anymore. I mean, I remember way back in the day, right when I was in high school, it was just unheard of for them to even be in the tournament. Everyone's just like, who's this? How do we pronounce this name? Is it Gonzaga?
Right. Yeah, and then a little bit after that, when I was in high school, then they started being more predominant. They would get like an 8 to a 5 seed, and then I remember they got that 1 seed. I think it was right in the middle of high school. They were a number 1 seed. In that second round, they got it taken to them by Wichita State. So then everybody was kind of wondering, are they going in the wrong direction or what's going on? But then they came back stronger than ever.
Well, it's not quite March Madness, but we're getting close to it, and there's going to be a lot of madness still here in the high school ranks, and I really look forward to see what both of these teams can do coming up in the district tournament. Obviously, we'd love to see them play for a third game, but that's going to be a winner to regionals contest. So if somehow Mark Morris is able to get past Chehalis, which those 2 teams played earlier this year down at the Moda Center, and Mark Morris was victorious, but we saw Chehalis last year come down here in the district tournament on the road, and they got beat by 46 in the championship game or something against Mark Morris. I mean,
wow.
It's going to be one of those games where I think Chehalis is going to be extremely emotional heading into that. They've lost their last 2 to the Monarchs, and they've got a guy named Dirk Plackinger, who's a high riser, 6'5". He will snatch your soul and dunk it on your head in a heartbeat. They've also got a real big body guy. It reminds me of Bryant Big Country Reeves from way back in the day, 6'10", Soren Dalen. He's a junior, and he's just one of those guys that's got a credit card vertical, but his arms are so long, and he's got decent footwork and always in the right position. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what that game is going to turn out like, but I like where the Monarchs are heading. They're fast. They got great guard play, and if they could somehow get some production from underneath the basket, like Dawson Morrow is going to be a huge player for them, who's also a heck of a baseball player right here. What can you tell me about Dawson Morrow?
Yeah, that kid's really special. Dying breed of 3-sport athlete nowadays. Varsity player every single sport. He was an all-league baseball player last year. Coach Michael Buss tells me he was a double machine. Also can pitch it really well. Threw about 10 innings last year, didn't give up a run. So he's a stud. He's probably a huge prospect to be a Division I baseball player. I hope he sticks with all 3 sports all the way throughout, though. It's a lot of fun to see those guys.
There's a couple really good young players between your squad and between Mark Morris as well. Jared Childers is another player that you've got on your team that isn't playing basketball this season, but I'm assuming that he's doing everything that he can to dedicate himself to continue to build on a very strong performance behind the plate last year for you guys.
Yeah, Jared's special. He's out of this world talented. I still don't think he realizes how good he really is. But he shows up and he works every day as if he's the least talented player on the entire team. And he's alpha dog, that type of mentality, carries others along with him, and that's where he started emerging end of last year and this summer, was as a leader and carrying around some of the underclassmen along with him, because we're going to be young again. But yeah, he's very, very talented. I think he's got Division I potential as well, in addition to Dawson.
Just about ready to begin the second half of action. About minute 30 to go. The Jacks making their way out of the locker room finally. Got to imagine Coach Holden having a lengthy conversation with his troops there about trying to generate some easier basket opportunities. Only 2 points again for R.A. Long there in the second quarter. Mark Morris starting to run away with this one, 24-11. But you know, like I mentioned earlier in the first half myself, that there's halftime adjustments that can really help your team get to a better position to start the next half, and all of a sudden momentum could be in your corner, and you don't know what will happen after that. And so then it'll be up to the Monarchs to respond. So we'll see what the Lumberjacks can cook up here and see if they can get this thing down to single digits within the first 2 minutes, and anything can happen from there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a game of runs, so whoever responds to adversity better, I think, is the one that'll turn this thing around. But you're exactly right. I mean, I think Mark Morris was the team that was slow getting out of the locker room last time, and then right before half, Backness called the JVs over to the corner, chewed them out, and hey, they came out ready to go.
Maybe now a good time to get tickets. One for $1, 6 for $5. Promises to be a big payout later tonight.
Chris Smith on the live stream chat down there. Dirk! Exclamation point. Did you see that dunk that Dirk had, though, a couple of weeks back? It was floating around on Twitter there, but he's playing North Thurston. He showed over at the baseline and faked a curl and then tucked it and then went to the hoop, and some guy, the center, came over to help for the Rams and just got absolutely packed on. It was just, I felt bad for him. It's almost like he had to find a ride home.
Now I got to look that one up.
Oh, I got it on my phone. I'll have to show you.
Good move there by Lamb. He's a solid kid. He's a really big competitor, good baseball player.
Bjorg ties up with Mize. And it looks like we're going to get a foul on Mize. Both players just kind of going for the basketball right there. Yeah, Chris saw it. Insane dunk. Absolutely. Plus, he's got like the greatest name in high school basketball. I mean, Dirk Plackinger. I mean, come on. The guy's a German dentist. Double team. Steal generated. There definitely will not be any quit in the Lumberjacks here as Million gets an open three from the near wing. No. Yeah, looks like we're going to get another foul underneath the basket. So 2 quick team fouls here in the first 46 seconds on R.A. Long. Foul on the shot. Abel Million's going to pick up the personal as Jace Wygant will head to the foul line. First free throw rolls off. Second free throw missed badly short. Ball tapped around. Look at the hustle there by Abel Million. And we got a foul here on Wygant for Mark Morris. Nice bounce pass down low. Shot no good, but a foul is called. It was all set up by the nice feed from Sean Mize down low.
Yeah, that was a good play. That's the type of action they need to keep consistent there. Just get some looks at the rim, make a couple stops, and see what happens.
Tremaine Jenkins at the line. And he appears to be a little bit shaken up. This isn't good.
I think we got a cramp, maybe.
Yeah, he's waving off any help from the trainers. Tough kid. With the way he's filled out with his body, I'm thinking next year he's probably going to get to play some running back and maybe also convert to safety. And he played corner last year and showed some really quick feet and sure tackling on the edges.
Yeah, just based on personnel, I think you're right on. I think he's got to be in a situation where he gets the ball on offense consistently, whether you do the jet sweeps like you did with Jamon this year, maybe throw him in the backfield in a bit. And then on defense, I think putting him at corner might be a little bit of a disadvantage, so maybe throwing him at safety and then maybe even putting him down in the box at linebacker every now and then.
I definitely was thinking that in the back of my head as you were mentioning that, Ryan. I mean, he's got the ability to lay some thump. Might not be a bad idea to see him hit the outside linebacker position and try to shore up the edges a little bit.
Yeah, I think, I mean, that's the name of the game, in my opinion, for high school football, is get as many athletes on the field as you can and as many big bodies as necessary, you know. I think that's the recipe for RA Long.
Count the bucket and one to Lamb. That was an impressive drive there into contact. All of a sudden, the Monarchs have extended this halftime lead to 19, largest of the game with 6:17 to go. Jacks still can't buy a bucket. Phil might have got away with a travel there. Lucky for the Monarch faithful, I don't have a whistle available.
I'd like to see Phil make the little bit of adjustment of when he drives to the basket, just come to a jump stop like that. Come to the jump stop like that. He's tried to go to his over his left shoulder multiple times and gotten away with probably a couple travels this game. Just got to come in there under control, get triple threat. Young guy, though. He's JV, still learning. He's got a bright career ahead of him. He's getting better, getting more confident.
You know, it's hard to believe that with all the success that the Lumberjack varsity team has had, Ryan, they've only got 3 seniors that are graduating.
Right, and that's what people keep saying. They're like, oh, but they're losing so much next year. It's like, but you got Cavan coming back. You got Lonnie Brown, who's been a rotational guy. Jake Gabbard, who's been a rotational guy. Both those guys shoot it very well. Jackson Cook, I don't even think has scratched the surface to what he can do offensively yet. Big-bodied guy. He's not scared of contact. They got some JV guys that can shoot it pretty well, too. I think, I don't think they're going anywhere for the foreseeable future.
Now, Holden is such a leader, and, you know, he's a coach out there. Oh, that's rejected. Yeah, he's a coach out there as well as a player. You know, that Ridgefield game, I can't remember if you were at the game or watching it on the stream, but you know, when he needed to hit some free throws late in between his first and second free throw, he turned around and was barking out defensive assignments after the made free throw because he just knew he was going to make it. But that's just the type of mentality and the leadership that he's got, and he's going to be able to make all those other players that you just mentioned that much better just by having his presence available.
Yeah, completely agree. He's alpha dog. He just walks, sleeps, breathes basketball. I mean, the dude just absolutely loves it. That's life to him. I've told you this before, but ever since I started watching basketball in this community, probably starting at 7 years old, there's been great basketball players to come from both schools throughout their histories. He very well may be the best. And I don't think that's a slouch to anybody else. I just think he's very good. And you just don't see that type of mentality in kids this early that often in small towns.
I'm sure most people who are on the live stream know, but the gentleman here with me, you know, Coach Ryan Littlefield, you know, he sported the baby blue here at Mark Morris and was a big part of a very long winning streak that the Monarchs put on RA Long, which I think got up to 28 games overall. While you were in high school. Even Drake, he was involved with that.
Yeah, there was a real long line of success there. I mean, sometimes in a small town, talent just kind of comes in waves, you know, kind of gets splits up between 2 schools. But I had tons of fun, enjoyed my teammates, classmates. We had a lot of success in basketball, baseball, football. It's nice to see the balance of powers and see both schools have a lot of success here recently in basketball.
Carson Bogner hits a pair. Sorry if we haven't been talking about the basketball game too much here, but there's really not much of one going on. Mark Morris on top 32-11 here. The Jacks have only scored 2 points since the start of the second quarter, Ryan.
He's got to start converting on some looks.
I think at this point you got to really give a lot of credit to the defense being played here by Coach Polis's team.
Yeah, any team coached by Polis is going to be sound defensively, and if they're not, then the guy who's not playing D is going to be out of there in a hurry.
Absolutely right, you are. And another turnover generated as we're talking about Monarch defense. And the other coach, Polis, Mickey, who was a freshman when I was a senior, he's got a good-looking LCC team this year. So it'd be nice to see what the Red Devils can put together here when it comes playoff time.
Man, for anybody who likes basketball, those guys fly up and down the court. Also see some locals, Ashton Harvey, Cameron Holden for those guys. They are fun to watch.
Free throw converted by Dalton Stevens, 33-11. Monarchs enjoying a 22-point home victory. Jack's not enjoying much so far here. And Stevens unable to connect on the second. Ball loose. Jenkins still hustling, diving to the floor, poking it out of there. 3 ball. It is hit. There's Phil. Finally breaking the seal on the basket for R.A. Long. And we got an outside whistle here and turnover. Lumberjack basketball. Kelsey Shop, hey, how's it going? Says, let's go, Jacks. Fans, you know the drill. Be sure to type in where you're watching from and who you're rooting for, as we are just about done with the undercard. It's been all Monarchs as Reagans dials up a 3, and all of a sudden the Jacks hit back-to-back triples, making it look a little bit more respectable now, Coach.
All it takes, just a couple buckets, gain some confidence, see the ball go down the net, and you can get something going.
Turnover.
Pull back, pull back, pull back. Just run a set.
8-0 run. Thill. I like Peyton Thill's mentality. You know, he's got great handles, but he's a really headstrong kid. You can see when he gets out there, he believes he's going to make every shot he takes. And he seems to magically get away with a couple extra shuffles every now and then. Drive is no good.
He can't teach that part of the game, though.
James Harden has taught all the youngsters how to get away with traveling in the last 5 years or so. Jody Fowler, let's go Jacks. Chris Smith says we're dead on about Trey and the football team and the offense. I don't know who knows anything about football here in this booth. Jenkins is at the foul line here. 2:31 to go. Mize checks back in. Wygant checks back in for the Monarchs. But it's now a 14-point game. It's a little bit closer, so anything can happen. Jenkins cannot hit either of the two at the line, though. Probably an ill-advised shot there early in the shot clock. Coach Polis would like to see him use a little bit more time there. Reagans gets a screen, picks up his dribble. Now he sets a screen for Thill. Thill enters it in. Jenkins has a good seal, then lays it off. Probably should have just went right up with that one. Monarchs can't cash in, but they do get the ball back on a turnover and then give it back. Minute 42 to go in the third. Tough shot in the lane, doesn't draw iron. And then we're going to get a foul. Loose ball variety. Minute 36 to go, third quarter. As Jamal Holden asking the far sideline official there.
I have a feeling he's asking about the last drive that Mize went in the lane and no foul called, and then they're playing D, so there's a little conversation.
We're going to get some bonus free throws here for Mark Morris. That's the 7th Lumberjack team foul, so free throws the rest of the half. Jacks are going to have to mind their P's and Q's.
Down 14, having trouble knocking down shots. That's going to be a really tough task, I think.
The Monarchs haven't done a tremendous job of cashing in at the foul line here so far in the second half. Ball goes out of bounds. And we're going to get a timeout on the floor. Minute 35 to go. Fans, we are just about 20 minutes away. Oh, yeah. Pay no attention to the spam bot comment section there. They want to take you to some Eagle Vision. I don't even know who the Eagles are. I don't know. We occasionally get some spam bots in the comment section that, want you to watch their live stream productions of whatever's going on. Coach, I will say that growing up, I mean, Mark Morris basketball was Mark Morris basketball, right? I mean, it was the bee's knees of sports in the area. I mean, I wanted to be a Monarch, and I ended up going to Kelso, so it's just like, you want to wear the powdered blue, and the pageantry that goes along with the fans, the student section, pep band, everything that goes into, cracking the lid on a game here. It's really intimidating as one of the road opponents, coming in, and the student section seems to always have the chance going. They're in top-notch form every night. My favorite is when they chant "take his whistle," from the referee during a game. They're just smart fans, you know what I mean? They know their basketball, and it just makes it that much tougher for the opponent.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you're spot on. It's a culture. It's been that way in this community for quite a long time. It's conditioned at a young age. I mean, with the Monarch Red Devil basketball camp, with summer basketball, with the Land Sharks. That's the program that you kind of play tournament style before you get in high school. And then creates lots of excitement here as far as fundraising goes, and the amount of work that the coaches and the support they get from the staff that goes into the program.
I just find it hilarious when the student section turns their back to the other team during pregame introductions. Like, they don't even acknowledge that they're here.
Or the newspapers.
3 ball from the far corner. Jacks need this, unable to connect as Sean Mize had a decent look at it. Gendro drives baseline around Reagans, stops his body and keeps his composure, draws contact. He'll head to the line. 37.5 to go here, third quarter. First free throw by Gendro is up and down. 15-point Monarch lead now. Remember, fans, tip-off will be right around 7:30. Gendro connects on a pair. Lead back up to 16. William Dyke has his shot rejected. Ball out of bounds. And they got Monarch basketball. Dude, I'm not sure about that one. But again, they don't give me a whistle up here. Nice bounce pass down low. Shot up and good by Bjorg. Phil for 3. Nope. Offensive rebound, Mize. Needs to go up with it. Can't get a shot off in front of the buzzer. Helped up by his teammates. And that's going to do it for the first 3 quarters of action here, Ryan.
Are they going to give him 2 shots?
Let's check with the officials here real quick. They are, yeah. These are going to be a couple free throws. I didn't see a shot attempt there before the buzzer, but maybe the Jacks can catch a break here and hit these 2 and make it look a little bit more respectable heading into the fourth quarter, as Mize does hit the first. So, yeah, 37-20.
Got his offensive line over there rooting him on.
Unable to get the second, but that's all right. 37-20, Monarchs. here in the JV Civil War Part 2. And it looks like the Monarchs are on their way to a sweep, barring a Herculean comeback by the Lumberjacks here in the fourth quarter. This is only the third game that I've had a chance to do the JV boys this season, so it's still getting to know the faces and numbers a little bit, names on the roster. I'll tell you what, though, I got the varsity teams on lockdown, though. I can memorize their names and numbers without even looking at the roster sheet. Final 8 minutes of action, barring overtime. Monarch basketball. Dangerous pass intercepted. Hard spill. They called jump ball there?
I think they called it travel.
Oof.
Yeah, tough go at it, and his back probably isn't making him feel any better.
No. It was a hard spill. You got to reward the young man there, you know? Dangerous pass. And it is picked off. Shot rejected. Lamb with the basketball, being tracked by Million. Lumberjacks doing a good job switching on these screens here on this possession, as the Monarchs are working around the perimeter. One on the shot clock.
Clock's down.
And that's going to be a shot clock violation, so some good team defense there by R.A. Long. Exactly 7 to go here in the fourth. Three ball, no good. Stevens with the rebound. Another good defensive possession there for R.A. Long, as Mize pump fakes, gets his man in the air, draws contact, and converts. He'll head to the line for a chance at the old-fashioned three-point play. Those are the kind of basketball plays that I really like, when guys just use their head and they don't let their body get going too fast, and set their feet, get some defenders up in the air, draw some contact. Mize connects on the free throw. Nice pass, and another nice pass.
Good basketball there.
Absolutely. Clinical possession results in 2 more. Jacks get out in transition. They will head right back to the foul line, as Trey Jenkins takes it hard to the hoop. 5:42 to go, fourth quarter, as the band, I see a tuba, is making its way into the gymnasium. And the tuba entering your screen right now. Jenkins barely clips the front of the rim there. It's going to be quite the atmosphere here in about 30 minutes, Ryan.
Yeah, it's something else. The band always does such an awesome job here at Mark Morris. That's something that was always super fun as an athlete. They put tons of time and effort and energy into that as well.
Dangerous collision there.
So, yeah, this place is going to be rocking. It's going to be lots of fun.
Nothing but bragging rights on the line. But when it comes to the battle of who's the king of the nutty narrows. That's all that matters. How about them Lumberjills, Ryan? Last night in overtime, I didn't get a chance to go to that game because I was still laid up a little bit there, but I did watch it on the Huddle stream. And, boy, what a job by head coach Kyle Randall. You know, Kyle has done a phenomenal job with the team. RA Long did not have a league victory to start the calendar year this season, and they end up winning their last 5 in a row, 8 out of their last 10 to steal 4th place from the Lady Monarchs. I mean, what a job that Kyle Randall has done.
I totally agree. You know, I mean, Coach of the Year in the league usually goes to the coach that's the league champion or, like, really close. But with the job that he's done, with exactly what you're saying, with kind of the past couple seasons that they've had, he should absolutely be in consideration for Coach of the Year. He's been awesome.
Made basket off of a turnover. All of a sudden, Coach, it's a 13-point game with 5:03 to go.
Just stick with it. Stick with it. See what happens.
But, yeah, back to Coach Randall. I mean, I had either him or Sean Atkins as winning Coach of the Year this season. I thought that both coaches did a phenomenal job with young rosters. And, you know, the winner of last night's game, by all intents and purposes, might have gotten the vote. But we all know that, you know, Washougal and Hawkinson and Hudson's Bay have done a great job this season. And but a first-year coach, Kyle Randall, and he's only got 3 seniors on the roster as well. So talk about the job that they've done this year, and then to draw up a play with 4.5 to go last night to get Jayla Clark a good look at the basket, and Jayla, you know, shows the senior leadership and hits it and goes to the foul line, and they're able to secure a huge Civil War victory and get themselves into 4th place in the district tournament coming up.
Yeah, that was huge. That play call was so good, and I think the fact that he called it going to Jayla was huge too, because I think everybody in the watching the live stream, everybody in the Lumberdome thought the ball was going to go to Miranda Lomax. So good coaching there, and it paid off.
Double whistle, usually that means a turnover on the offense, and it's carry time. 4:29 to go. Jack's still trying to hang around here, get another turnover. Shot no good, but oh, they got an offensive foul. Ooh, wow, I don't know about that one.
Sure, I agree with that.
And I don't think that Coach Holden agrees with that call very much either, Ryan.
Yeah, I got a guy going to his right, trying to avoid contact. Defender doesn't even go to the ground. Tough call.
And he's still having a lengthy discussion out there with 2 different officials. This isn't the official that made the call, but comes all the way over from the near sideline to try to provide some reassurance. And I doubt he's getting any. Under 4 to go here in the 4th. Bogner, yes, Carson is such a smooth-looking basketball player out there. William Dyke travels. It was an initial good move there, just couldn't keep his pivot foot on the ground. Got to imagine Coach Polis is content just using some clock here and getting a good look at the basket, and then that's exactly what he gets there.
Absolutely, that's what you got to do with this type of lead. Think clock all the way, even if you come up with gold on the defensive end.
Very difficult shot is in by Sean Mize. no quitting the Lumberjacks, even though they're still down double digits here in the fourth. And should have been an offensive foul down there instead of no call. Jacks get the basketball back. But player looked to be in pretty good position there. Million, nice hesitation. Blows by the defender. And it looks like we've got another offensive foul here. At least they're staying consistent.
That's 5 for Million as well.
So Abel's fouled out of the ball game. 2:26 to go. 17-point Monarch lead. That's a travel there, but no call. Ball saved inbounds by R.A. Long. Mize dimes it off, shot missed. Bogner with the rebound. 3 ball is good. Timeout, Monarchs from the bench. 1:34 to go in this one. 48-28, home team on top by 20. And the JV Monarchs are going to go 2-0 against R.A. Long this season. Good sign for the future, as we've had a couple conversations so far tonight. Things are looking pretty good for Mark Morris heading into next season as well. I mean, we mentioned how Kevin Holden's still going to be back, and the Jacks are only graduating 3 seniors. And looking up and down the lineup card here, there's only 4 seniors listed, I believe, for the Monarchs. So they got a bunch of their guys coming back next season. You got Braden Olson is just a sophomore. Then you got Deacon Dietz coming back and Kobe Parlin coming back. You'll have
Morrow,
Dawson Morrow is a sophomore coming back. Malachi Gray, who's a sophomore, will be a junior. So they'll still have some underclassmen next season. So I really think that the Monarchs are in great position to potentially contend for a league championship coming up next year. And they got a lot to build on. As you mentioned, they got a couple really good-looking players here on the JV team, but in Lamb and Bogner and Wygant. So Reagans fires up a 3, no. Brewer tracks down the offensive rebound.
Yeah, I think there's lots to be excited about for basketball in Longview for, like you said, for next year and on. Oh, that guy spilled his nachos. That stinks. So, yeah, I mean, I think these were the best 2 JV teams in this league this year, if I'm not mistaken. So if you compound that with what they're returning, I think this is the league championship next year.
I'm fairly positive that the Monarchs ended up having the best record in the JV ranks.
I think you're correct. And I think R.A. Long, I don't know if they've lost many games as well outside of Mark Morris.
They definitely played some competitive ball games here throughout the middle portion of the season after they called LBJ up to the varsity full-time.
Right.
But when they had LBJ going, they were winning most of their games. And, they played some really good teams as well. Ridgefield had a pretty decent JV squad this year. They played Camus's JV super tough. So
yeah, that Camus game for both JV and varsity, I think, was the best thing for them for this entire year. That Camus team was freaky athletic. Everybody, that's not a charge.
Wow,
everybody,
tough breakdown here in the fourth quarter.
Everybody on that Camus team, guards, everybody, I'm pretty sure they were 6'2" and up. They were just freaky athletic and lengthy, and they could shoot. That length, I think, was really awesome for R.A. Long to see, because you don't see a lot of teams like that at this 2A level. Like you said, WF West is really long. But I think that's going to bode really well for them, getting that experience, playing that tough competition. We had a really good run there and made it really interesting and made them nervous early on. But yeah, that Camus team is really good.
They're 17-2, Ryan, and they didn't have a close game since the R.A. Long game, and R.A. Long was up 17 in that one. I mean, Camas had already mounted their comeback and made it more of a basketball game before Aaron ended up exiting after the dunk. But let's not forget, R.A. Long was still in control of the game on the scoreboard there when Aaron did end up going down with the injury.
Exactly, yeah. And then Aaron goes out. Him and Jackson were our size against those guys. Once that happened, that was really hard to come back from unless we were shooting it as well as we were early on. Which it goes in streaks in the game of basketball in high school, you know. So, after Aaron went down, didn't go our way, but still great for our guys to see. That length was great for those guards to see.
You know, they're in a heavyweight title fight tonight as well. It's Union at Camas, same time as this game that's going to start here in about 20 minutes between R.A. Long and Mark Morris. You want to talk about a couple of heavyweight title fights. I mean, winner of that game is going to have, I believe, the claim to the 4A Greater St. Helens League title, at least a share of the title, as Union is led by Bryson Lamb, and they have Yanni Facilis, who transferred out of Washougal last year. He's another 6'8" post player who, you know, went up against Aaron a couple times last year, and for the, you know, lack of the competition, I think that Austin really handed it to Facilis a couple times last year when they actually played, and also an AAU ball. So, you know, it's nice to see that Union has got some familiar players that I know a lot of these kids for R.A. Long have played against, and that's what's really helped their confidence, knowing that they can take the floor with just about anybody and compete. And they still haven't lost to a 2A opponent all year, so it's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, you got another former Monarch basketball player, college basketball player, who's head coach in the Tumwater Thunderbirds, and Josh Wilson. So Tumwater's going to have something to say as well when it comes time to the district tournament. But I think that Camas game was a great experience for R.A. Long to really see what some of the echelon talent can look like when you get to the 4A ranks. So, you know, how far Camas goes is a good indicator to how far R.A. Long might go.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. Absolutely. I think it was a great move to get some of those games this year, get some of that competition. I would have loved to have seen R.A. Long take on Union at that point too, but R.A. Long just was not healthy, and that was the right decision.
100% agree with you there. There's no point in playing the game like that at that point when you've had a couple of positive COVID tests that have kept some of your players out. And, you know, not just the fact that Aaron had an injury in a game, you know, you also don't want to run your team's legs into the ground.
Yep.
And that was a great decision, I felt, by the athletic department to take that one off, because they ended up playing 4 games that week.
Right.
You know, so
they played a Saturday game, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that was the Ridgefield Mark Morris week with Columbia River on the tail end. So, you know, imagine that you come back and you play Monday, right? You know, that's just going to kill you. So,
yeah, good move there. Save the legs. Get ready for a playoff run.
Well, fans, we are just about 20 minutes away from introductions and tip-off. We are going to go ahead and break away from this portion of the live stream video. I see we got a little bit over 50 people here so far coming into tonight's game. So stand by the Facebook page and the website. We are going to relaunch the live stream for the varsity game coming up here in just about 10 minutes time. But yeah, Mark Morris ends up taking the JV game 48-30 over R.A. Long. Great performance overall. Good team basketball by Mark Morris. A tough shooting night, and not really much rhythm there for R.A. Long. We'll expect to see good things from both teams coming up next season. Like Coach Littlefield just alluded to a little bit ago, both teams, you know, the best 2 teams in the league for the JV squads. Mark Morris seemingly winning the league there if they keep league standing competition, but can't imagine that they don't. But the Monarchs looked good, and they ended up winning by 18. Second victory over R.A. Long this season. And yeah, the Monarch varsity looking to get one back as the Jacks took the first one 85-72. And part 2 of the Civil War still to come here in about 20 minutes time. So come on back, folks. And on behalf of Ryan Littlefield, this is Nick Sisson saying so long from the JV broadcast. Mark